Hi, I'm Matt, and today with Mission Monday I have Paul and Alexa Fraser. They're going to be taking off for Japan here in a number of days, the 21st, right?
Yes.
You're taking off here, and some of you are aware of kind of what our church has been up to the last couple of years in partnering with the Frasers and welcoming them in and them welcoming us into their lives. Some of you are not, and I just want to let you know a little bit of the kind of summary of how things came about, how they have gone, and what is now happening with them going to Japan. So I'll let Paul and Alexa kind of answer some of the questions, but just like, how did you guys first get to Seattle? How did that whole process come about?
Yeah, Alexa has always had a missional heart. She went to China in high school, and I think got a heart for the Chinese people, and I didn't know her yet at that point, and so when I first met her, that was the one of the first things that popped up in our conversations. Us talking about, hey, if we want to date and one day get married, what do we want our lives to be involved in, to have whatever, and China popped up, which was really cool. Then in seminary, I went on the 2019 vision trip with you, Matt, to Japan, and in the back of my mind, I think there was still that conversation I had with Alexa of international mission work, especially maybe in Asia. How would that look or whatever? And while in Japan, there was every single person we talked to was just like, hey, there's a harvest here that's ready, but we need workers. And so I think that along with everything else that we experienced and did there, talked with people, got to see the aftermath of the 2011 earthquake tsunami, broke my heart for the Japanese people, that this is the nation that God made and loves. And so then now coming back, I talked with Alexa, and you can maybe share just a bit about that.
Yeah, while he was gone, I was home with Arthur, who was like 4 months old at the time, and I was kind of feeling like, oh man, I feel like Paul might come back with like a calling to go back into missions, maybe specifically to Japan. And I was kind of evaluating like, man, what would that be like? I had this experience in Asia before, and now I was, kind of feeling this movement in my heart again, and God really gave me a very overnight love for Japan. And by the time Paul came back, I was like, and he came in and was like, hey, like, I kind of, God is doing a little something in my heart about Japan, and I was like, oh, me too. And so we kind of started talking about that then. After that, Paul finished some seminary class. He had, I think, a year and a half-ish left of seminary, and we had talked with some people at LVIM about going to Japan, and at the time it was 2020, and everything was closed and everything was shut down, and Japan was not open to any new people coming in. And so at that same time, the Lutheran Brethren was kind of reestablishing some connections with the Lutheran Brethren Church in Japan. So as those things were being, as COVID was being resolved-ish, and those relationships were being built up, we kind of needed some place to be and learn and hopefully be prepared to go to Japan. And I don't know that we could have done that in Minnesota. We don't have a lot of Japanese connections there, but we knew Matt and Julia. We were in seminary together, and so that kind of started a little bit of conversations along with a few other parties, and Roger and Sue being willing to bring us out here with, help us or let us be a part of their ministry here at Rock of Ages and Japanese ministries, kind of giving us just a foundation. And what was supposed to be 6 to 18 months turned into 2 full years, and now we've gotten the pleasure and the blessing of being a part of both the Japanese ministries in Rock of Ages, as well as the English church and the Rock of Ages as a whole.
Mm-hmm. It was kind of fun. It wasn't kind of. It was a lot of fun when we were figuring out if this is possible. We thought, it's like, well, this seems like a good idea. We have some pastoral kind of internship sort of opportunities that'd be possible, like in English, which most LB churches would have, right? But we also had the Japanese component here, and like getting to walk with former missionaries there and people who are doing Japanese ministry here that could kind of hopefully impart to a certain extent. And we're just thinking like, well, how can we do it though? Because like you need money like to do stuff like this. Roger's mother had passed away, and there was a sizable gift from that was able to pay for a certain amount of time. But then there was also our region kicked in a good amount of money, very generous amount of money. And then there's others who were connected to Japanese ministries who, I mean, there's been a lot of people praying for missionaries to eventually be sent to Japan, and they got on board with this, and it was like, well, shoot, seems like God's involved in this, so we'd be kind of dumb to not. And thankfully, like, yeah, like that, it was a very good thing, and like our English church has been blessed. We just got done with the last coffee cart that you guys will do, or maybe it'll be next week. But and like one of the people who isn't a Christian isn't invested in the mission of our congregation, but they're invested in you. They're mourning that they're leaving, and it's like, okay, well, this, like, we didn't just have you guys to bless Japan. Like, you guys have been a blessing to our ministry here and to people who are connected to our congregation through these different means. And like, just thinking like the students that you guys mentored through like Chat Pals or through the talk time, which maybe we could talk about a little bit. Like those people, maybe you'll see in Japan, maybe you won't. But like ministry that you did here meant something for here and abroad, which I think was really cool. Like that God's worked that out to happen. Okay, so what have you guys been up to while you've been here? Like ministering with the English church, the Japanese church, and other churches in our area.
Yeah, one of the things we did was a rock talk or a talk time with Japanese college students that were here to study English, and we got to host them at our church, invite them come in and share a meal, play some games with them, and then just engage in conversation for an hour to 2 hours with them as they are practicing English, and in return we get to hang out with them and spend time with them, get to know them, what they're like, and then as they come week after week and we get to engage with them, we get to then invite them to come to church on Sunday or to go get a tea or a coffee during the week, or just kind of genuinely befriend them and build these really intentional relationships with them, and that paired with a thing we call Chat Pal, where you kind of adopt a couple students to intentionally talk English with them, and over Zoom or in person, go get coffee during the week or whatever kind of thing, and really focus on, okay, these couple students are ones that I want to pour into, and I want to help them accomplish their mission of practicing English, and in return, they also get invested in our lives as they learn us. And so then, yeah, we have to do similar things, like invite them to coffee cart to help be with the kids and stuff, and they hear conversation, and they hear and get to experience and really see and taste the body of Christ doing stuff. And it was cool. A couple students a couple years ago noted during their graduation ceremony just how much there's this group of people that just love them from the start, and they noticed and they felt it, and they were like, I'm so thankful for these people, and they called out the church in front of their entire school as being these loving Christians who had no reason to spend the time they did with them, but they appreciated it, they loved it, and I think that's cool. That's us as we get to know them. You mentioned some other things we did.
Yeah, another thing I really loved was, like Matt mentioned, doing the coffee cart was a favorite. Got to come every Saturday and just get to know the people in the neighborhood and get to know just the volunteers who come to coffee cart a lot better than I would have otherwise. It was a good way for us to kind of bridge the gap in between the Japanese congregation and the English congregation and kind of get to work on that together. Yeah, and we had, I think over the course of the 2 years, 10 chat pals, so we've kind of spent a lot of time doing that. As well as Paul's preached a couple times, both in the English service and Japanese service, and has gotten to do some pulpit filling elsewhere in the region as well. So we've really been blessed, not only by Rock of Ages, but really by the entire region, just with getting to know them and like finding people who have been telling us they've been praying for us and continue to check in and ask how we're doing and what they can pray for, and that has been a huge blessing and just a wonderful part of what it looks like to be the body of Christ, kind of. As we go and you guys stay, we're unified in our care for each other's ministries.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when we arrive in Japan, we'll stay overnight in Tokyo, and then the next day we'll take the bullet train to Sendai, where we will be for probably the next 2 years, at least. And during those 2 years, we'll be in language school, and that'll be our primary focus, is just kind of building some basic relationships with the church, potentially, and maybe our neighborhood, but the biggest thing is just acquiring language. Our kids will probably be in Japanese public school, and so we'll be mostly doing everything school related. And we'll move into a mission-owned house, which is on the property of the seminary building for the Japanese Lutheran Brethren Church Seminary. We have a house we can move in for the first couple months, and it's furnished, and it'll be a nice little landing place before we transition to probably more of a downtown location closer to the school and just closer to where we will be doing ministry in the long run.
Yeah, I think people can be praying for us as we're foreigners in a foreign to us land, trying to learn language and not having as much as we would like to have at first. But I think for us and our two sons, they're 4 years old and 2 years old, and they'll be transitioning to totally everything new as well. And so for our health, and our stress, but also that in the midst of all this going on, that God can continue to lead us and lead people into our lives that will be edifying and glorifying to his ministry moving forward, after we hopefully get a grasp on language. But I think prayers for moving transitions, health, stress, all these things that come with going somewhere new and trying to figure out everything. I think too, I think it'd be awesome if people could keep in prayer for the Japanese synod, as well as our synod back home, as we're partnering and both trying to do missions in our own homes and now connected through international mission stuff. I think keeping the church in prayer as we're going forward, and Japan is a place that's proportionally has less Christians, but I think we all can understand and feel the need for evangelism and outreach, and so prayer for us in that, but also the church surrounding us back home and in Japan, as we all figure that out.
Thinking about this last week as we're kind of approaching it, is like those of you who are watching and who gave financially, the work that was done is largely because of what you did. Ultimately, God is the one who calls. God is the one who equips. He is the one who inspires. He's the one who gave people resources to then share. He's the one who deserves all praise for that, obviously. But God works through his people. He works through means, and he works through you. He's worked through you guys, and like that good work happened because people gave. I hope that you guys continue to give. And you can do that. Go to LBIM, follow the links that are there. You'll figure it out. It's not too hard to figure out how to give. Thankfully people make it pretty easy to give money, right? But pray for them. Please pray about considering them for your regular budget moving forward. As a family, we are going to be doing that at our church family. I believe that's the plan going forward. But people around the LB, this is a good value for your money. Our hearts are broken a bit. That's the way it is, but and that's part of the realness of all human relationships is that God does a really special thing when he brings people into our paths. We didn't plan this though. Like that's one of the things that's really kind of fun about this whole work that we get to do is we didn't plan you guys coming here. This wasn't anywhere on like our 5-year, 10-year plan sort of thing, but yet God brought this about. And he brought you to us, and the people's lives who were touched because you came here are a result of his plan, and God's going to continue to do his work through you guys. While you're in Japan, he's going to continue to do his work through Rock of Ages as he continues to bring people to us, and like for us to minister to and to minister through us. And so be praying about what God has in plan for our Japanese ministries. Be praying for us as English ministry. We're losing high quality children and high quality parents, and that is a loss. But we're also looking for God to do His work in bringing and equipping and sending more and more people. So, well, I think this is it for Mission Money. Thank you guys for doing the video with me, and we'll miss you guys and we'll be praying for you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.